This lesson, we're looking at metric mass conversions. So write down the title and date and have a go at the starter questions. And if you finish those, try the challenge questions. Pause the video, please. Okay, here are the answers. Moving on to the nodi wers. So the nodi wers for today is to be able to convert between metric units of mass. These are grams, kilograms, and tons. So pause the video and copy this down in your books, please. Moving on. So, like we said last lesson, we're looking at the metric system, which is the universal way of measuring all sorts of things like length, mass, and volume. This lesson, we're looking at mass units, okay? So, let's have a look at some objects that weigh different things. So we've got 3 different types of animals here, and each of these weigh the 3 different types of units that we're looking at today. On the far left here, we have got the Etruscan shrew. It's a very, very fun word, the Etruscan shrew. And this is the smallest mammal in the world, and it weighs a whopping 2.5 grams. So that's no bigger than maybe a teaspoon of sugar, maybe. It's very, very small. It's the smallest mammal on earth, the Etruscan shrew. The next animal we've got is a red fox. And you might have seen some of these around the city. They do like to hang around cities. And an average red fox weighs about 4 kilograms. Okay. And then on the right now, we've got the bad boy. We've got an African elephant. And this is one of the biggest land mammals on Earth. And these things, we don't measure their weight in grams. We don't measure their weight in kilograms. We measure their weight in tons. And these animals weigh on average 6 tons, okay? So to put that into perspective, one of the smaller cars in the car park that the teachers have probably weighs about 2 tons. So this elephant weighs about 2 or 3 cars, okay? Very heavy animals. So these are the units that we're going to be using today. We're going to be using grams, kilograms, and tons. I've already written that there. Okay, so let's have a look about how we convert between these units. So you may already know this, but in 1,000, so come to an equivalent amount of grams and kilograms, 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram, or 1 kg, okay? That's how we abbreviate a kilogram. And there are 1,000 kilograms in 1 ton, okay? So make sure you jot this down somewhere. It's nice, it's a useful little list to know, useful conversions. So how do we convert between these 3 different units? Well, we've got our smallest one, which is grams. We've got the next biggest, which is kilograms. And we've got the biggest, which is tons. We're just going to use T for tons, okay? So because there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram, if we want to say how much something weighs, we know the weight of it in grams. To do that, we have to divide the number of grams by 1,000. Okay? Lovely. And if we know the weight of something in kilograms and we want to change it to tons, because there's 1,000 kilograms in a ton, it's the same thing again. We divide the number of kilograms by 1,000, and that will give us the same weight just in tons. Okay? Now, what about if we want to weigh something in smaller units? So we know the weight of something in tons, but we want to find out what it is in kilograms. Well, again, because there's 1,000 kilograms in a ton, we multiply the number of tons by 1,000, and that will give us the weight in kilograms. And just like above, it's the same for kilograms to grams. If you know the weight of something in kilograms, but you want to convert it to grams, you multiply that number by 1,000, and you will get the same weight, except it will be in grams instead of kilograms, okay? So pause the video and copy down this diagram, okay? It's going to be very useful for today's lesson. Okay, let's have a look at a few examples. So, we're asked to convert the following gram measurements into kilograms, okay? So I've got 1,000 grams, and I want to turn this into kilograms. So remember, always double check the question. So grams to kilograms. And if I want to change grams to kilos, I'm going to start here. I'm following the arrow. I'm going to go up top and back down. So to do grams to kilograms, I have to divide by 1,000, okay? So if I've got 1,000 grams, to change it to kilos, I need to do 1,000 divided by 1,000. 1,000 divided by 1,000 is 1. So therefore, 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. Well, we already knew that was in the list I gave you earlier on, okay? But that's how you would work it out, okay? Next, we've got 54,000 grams, okay? So 54 and 3 zeros afterwards. How are we going to convert this to kilograms? Well, it's the exact same thing. We do 54,000 divided by 1,000. And all we do is going to move the decimal point in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So that's 54. So therefore, 54,000 grams in kilos is 54 kilograms. What about this last one here now? We've got 350 grams. Well, it's the same thing again. We're just going to divide this by 1,000 to make it kilograms. But you've just got to be mindful of where the decimal point's going to go, okay? So if we do 350 divided by 1,000, the decimal point would start here and put it in 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So the decimal point is now going to be in front of the 3. So it'd be 0.350, okay? So 350 divided by 1,000 is 0.35. We don't like the 0, so it's just 0.35. Therefore, 350 grams equals 0.35 kilograms. Okay, so pause the video and copy these examples down, please. Next example. So now we want to convert the following kilogram measurements into tons, okay? So same as last time, we find kilograms on our flow chart, and we want to go from kilograms to tons. And we do that by dividing by 1,000 again, okay? So it's the exact same as if we were converting from grams to kilos, kilograms to tons. It's the exact same thing, okay? So if I've got 2,000 kilograms, I'm going to want to do 2,000 divided by 1,000. 2,000 divided by 1,000, well, that equals 2. So that means 2,000 kilograms equals 2 tons. Not toms. 2 tons, okay? What about 18,000 kilograms? Well, again, I'm just going to divide by 1,000. So 18,000 kilograms divided by 1,000. And that will equal 18. Because 18,000 divided by 1,000 is 18, okay? So 18,000 kilograms is 18 tons. Now what about 600 kilograms? Well, again, we've just got to be mindful of the decimal point here, okay? So 600 divided by 1,000. Okay, so if the decimal point was at the end of the last 0, because we're dividing by 1,000, we're going to bounce it in 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So the decimal point will now be in front of the 6, okay? So it'd be 0.6. And we don't write 0, 0. We just leave it as 0.6, okay? So 600 kilograms equals 0.6 tons, okay? So pause the video and copy this example down, please. Let's have a look at the next set of examples. I want to convert from the following ton measurements into kilograms, okay? So we're going from bigger units to smaller ones now, okay? So we're starting at, if we look at our flow chart, we're starting at tons and we're going smaller, going back to kilograms, okay? How do I do that? Well, we multiply by 1,000. So let's do that. So if I've got 3 tons and I want to convert it to kilograms, I want to do 3 times 1,000. So 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. So that means 3 tons is equal to 3,000 kilograms, okay? What about 62 tons? If I want to turn that to kilos, well, exactly the same, just more of the same. 62 times 1,000, that will be 62,000. All right, so 62 tons in kilograms is 62,000 kilograms, okay? And the last one for this set of examples, we got 2.4 tons, okay? So again, just be mindful of the decimal point. So 2.4 times 1,000. Now, because we're multiplying by 1,000, the decimal point is going to go to the right 3 times, okay? Or you can just do 2.4 times 1,000. So 2 times 1,000 would be 2,000, and the 4 comes after it, 0, 0. Okay, so 2.4 times 1,000 is 2,400. Okay, so 2.4 tons equals 2,400 kilograms. Okay, so pause the video and copy this example down, please. Okay, last set of examples now. We want to convert the following kilogram measurements into gram measurements. Okay, so again, look at our flow chart. We're going to start at kilograms. We're going to go down the flow chart to grams. How do we get from kilograms to grams? Well, we multiply by 1,000. Okay, so let's have a go with that. So I've got 6 kilograms, and I'm going to turn it to grams. So all I have to do 6 times 1,000. That equals 6,000. Therefore, 6 kilograms equals 6,000 grams. Okay, the next one. If we've got 18 kilograms, I'm going to turn it to grams. Again, 18 times 1,000. That equals 18,000. So 18 kilograms is equal to 18,000 grams. And the last but not least, 2.5 kilograms into grams. So that's 2.5 times 1,000. 2.5 times 1,000 is 2,500, okay? So that means 2.5 kilograms is equal to 2,500 grams, okay? So pause the video, copy these last examples down, and then we'll move on to the main task. Okay, let's have a look at the main task. So here are all your questions. Make sure to use the flow chart you drew in your books earlier on to help you with these questions, okay? So pause the video and give them a good go. And there should be some challenge questions being written on the board as well if you manage to finish these. Okay, best of luck. Okay, so here are the answers. Very well done if you got them all right. Now let's have a look at the challenge questions. So you had to convert from grams to tons for the first set of questions, and then you had to convert from tons to grams for these questions. Now, some of you might have been thinking, how can I convert from grams to tons? We weren't taught how to do that. Well, if you looked at the flow chart that you were given, you might have realized that you could have just done it step by step. So grams to kilograms to tons. So you knew how to go from grams to kilos. You just divided by 1,000. And you know it again, then get from kilos to tons, you just divide that by 1,000 again. So if you divided your answer by 1,000 first, and then divided it by 1,000 again, you can change from grams to tons. But some of you might have realized it's very similar to last lesson. You could divide your number of grams by 1,000,000. and you only have to do one step then. So rather than dividing by 1,000 twice, if you divide it by 1,000,000, you can do it all in one go, okay? And the same was true for converting from tons to grams. All you had to do was multiply your number by 1,000 and you by 1,000,000, sorry, and you can convert from tons to grams in one step, okay? So well done if you figured that out, but also well done if you did it in 2 steps by dividing by 1,000 twice or multiplying by £1,000 twice or 1,000 units twice. So here are the answers. Very well done if you got them all right. On to the checking question now. So our old friend, the Etruscan shrew, is back. And as I said before, he weighs 2.5 grams, which is about the same as a paperclip, okay? So it's very, very light, very, very light animal. So if I had 1,000,000 Etruscan shrews, how much would this weigh in tons, okay? So say I've been very busy over the weekend. I've managed to collect 1,000,000 Etruscan shrews. How much would this weigh in tons? So pause the video and have a go at this question, please. Best of luck. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. So we were told the Etruscan shrew weighs 2.5 grams. And I was very busy and I had 1,000,000 of them, okay? And I want to convert this weight to tons. So first of all, let's find out what the weight of the shrews is in total, but in grams first, okay? So if a shrew weighs, let's change to red. If a shrew weighs 2.5 grams, and I've got 1,000,000 of them, so I'm going to have to times it by 1,000,000. Okay, so 2.5 grams times 1,000,000 is 2.5. Oh no, why am I writing like that? Is 2,500,000. Okay, so 2.5 times 1,000,000 is 2.5 million. Okay, 2,500,000. Okay, so that's in grams. So now I want to convert this weight into tons, okay? How do I convert from grams to tons again? Well, if we remember back at the flowchart we drew when we talked about the challenge question, so from grams to kilos to tons, we knew that to convert from grams to kilos, we had to divide by 1,000, and from kilos to tons, we had to divide by 1,000 again. But there was a way we could do it in one step, and that was by dividing by 1,000,000. So there's 2 ways you could have done this. You could have either, to turn 2.5 million grams into tons, you could have either divided by 1,000 twice, or you could divide it by 1,000,000. I'm going to divide it by 1,000,000. So 2.5 million divided by 1,000,000. That equals 2.5. Okay. So that means if 2.5 million divided by 1,000,000 is 2.5, that means that 2.5 million grams is equal to 2.5 tons. Now that is a lot of Etruscan shrew, okay? So very well done if you got that right. If you didn't quite get it, just copy down the work so you can see how you got it. And then I'll see you next time, okay? Good work today, guys. Bye now.